All right, so we are back on the W.A.D.E concept presented by The Ring Magazine. Why does my voice sound like that? Anyway, today is the final day before Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and before UFC 317. I'll be live in a 24-hour-ish live stream span starting Friday night around 8 p.m. PST. And going all the way through both of those main events. It's going to be a wild night. We're going to have some guests. We're going to play some games. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to watch Deontay Wilder fight on Friday as well. It's going to be insane. You don't want to miss it. Check out my live stream as you see this video, probably starting in T-minus 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. But today we're here for my final look at Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and this involves a couple of different things. Number one, parts of the live streamed press conference from today. Number two, a Piers Morgan interview that Jake Paul did, and some surrounding context that kind of goes into that and some other things as well. It's more just a final look at where everybody's headspace is. What does this fight look like to me, and how does it ultimately go down? That means my final prediction for this fight as well. So let's get into this press conference that was a little bit more spicy than you would imagine, but not for the reasons you would think. And then Jake Paul just flat out rage quit the Piers Morgan show, and we have to talk about that. So let's get into it. The breakdown. Let's go. So Jake comes up at the presser. He's giving everybody the, come on, bring the noise, crowd, bring the noise. Then he pulls something from outside of the shirt, starts moonwalking with it, thinks he's slick. Says, bow, how you like me now? Talks to Chavez Jr., puts a sign, I will be getting knocked out in front of Chavez. I assume someone tells Chavez because right as Jake goes to sit down, Chavez says, give me my shirt, give me the shirt. Chavez now goes and grabs the shirt. And then they show him the sign. What's the shirt say? Oh, Jake almost stumbles, damn near falls, trying to get out of his stall there. He takes that, puts it back over. What's the shirt say? He's my dad, and I'm your daddy. What the hell? It's got a picture of Chavez Sr. over here. I don't know who this gentleman is. It's supposed to be in Jake's corner, but then you got Chavez Jr., and I assume Jake is on his lap being spanked. So then Jake puts the sign back. Chavez says, here, you can hold the shirt. Jake's like, yeah, that's nice, buddy. Fuck that. Hits him in the head with it. And then Chavez throws it back. Now, you don't see it here, but I got to give Jake his credit. There was an alternate angle of this, and Jake slips it low-key. It's kind of fire. Head movement. Head movement. Lean back. Hey, lean back.
I like legendary names, and he's on my path to world championship. This is a tough test, a very, very tough test. But I'm here to challenge myself and do big things in this sport and then make a title run after I beat him on Saturday.
Julio, I saw earlier today on Instagram, a video was posted of you urinating on a picture of Jake Paul. Do you care to explain?
What? I don't even know if we can show this on YouTube. Hold on. Why would they put the picture on the back of the toilet seat? Why would you put it in the toilet? He's just pissing on the toilet lid, dude. Like, just put it on the toilet. Oh, I got it on the freaking water bottle. Damn, got me.
Jake, did that hurt your feelings to see that?
No, but he should know that it's illegal to play with a little boy's wee-wee.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask any questions. I don't know what's happening, but let's just move on. Nope.
So he's definitely not a good boxer. If he were a good boxer, then everybody here at this stage would be a legend. So no, I don't think he's a good boxer, and everybody knows that.
If he's good, then everybody else on stage is a legend. That's not bad trash talk right there from Chavez Jr. But I mean, listen, compared to some of the people that Chavez Jr. has shared the ring with, and probably in his own mind, even himself, that no, Jake is not a good or great boxer because he's shared the ring with world champions. He has himself been a world champion. I don't see him in that same form now, especially 40 pounds up from the weight class he fought at. I mean, I don't really mind him saying that because what he deciphers as a good boxer is not what he looks at Jake Paul as, which is world championship level, right? So no, I think that Jake is good for the time he's been in the sport. Only been in this, doing this for 6-7 years, whatever it is. So I think that's a pretty massive rise that he's had for a guy that didn't have any amateur background or anything like that. It's fully dedicated and really tried to be something. But I would agree. I don't think Jake is world championship level. He's going to try to prove people like me wrong, but I don't see that right now.
I'm not a good boxer. I'm a great boxer, and he's going to find out on Saturday night.
Talk your shit, Jake.
All right. Avius Griffin said, talk that shit, Jake.
He's not ready for this level. I know what I see. I know exactly what I see, and I'm going to exploit all this man's power, all that on Saturday night.
Yeah. You told the
You got a big
boys,
mouth. You shut your mouth. You got a big mouth for nothing.
You told the boxing boys something about a lifestyle. You don't know shit about
Man,
me.
get the
Nobody
fuck out of
around you
here.
know shit about me.
The Met
But you gonna
Gala's that
find
way.
out.
This ain't the Met Gala, bro. Take them glasses off. It's too bright for you
sound
over here.
good.
That man said, hey, the Met Gala is that way. Take them glasses off. It's too bright for you on this stage. Dang! Julian Rodriguez, you son of a gun. That was fire.
Don't let Mr. TikTok blow your head up. I'm coming on Saturday.
Hey, I'll beat the fuck out of you too, bitch boy.
Hey, it sounds good.
He got Jake tight, too. Yo, he's cooking. First, he started the thing by saying, hey, appreciate MVP and Jake for the opportunity. And Jake has been getting more spicy, which, again, you kind of have to respond, right? Whatever. But Jake's been getting more spicy with people on a very short fuse this week. It feels like, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like he's had a shorter leash this week than I've remembered since like 2021, 2022. That's freaking hilarious.
You need
My
daddy
boy
to talk
finna
for
beat
you.
your ass.
You need daddy to talk for
And
you.
then I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
put it on TikTok.
Go ahead, Mr.
I'm going to put you
YouTube.
on TikTok in front of all my viewers
Okay.
getting fucking slept by this
There you
goat
go.
right here. Future
I can't
goat.
hear you.
Avius
Good.
Griffin.
Called Avius the GOAT. Future GOAT. You can tell Jake's a little pressed. And fair play. He's sticking up for his guy. You know what I'm saying? He's sticking up for his guy. Just killing me. It sounds like something low-key I would say during a presser. You need daddy to talk for you? Mr. TikTok over there? Oh, man. I like this guy, man.
But I hope so. I
can't hear you.
Dumbass, I'm the promoter. I don't even know your fucking name.
Go ahead. You're a YouTuber, bro.
I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing for Jake. He should know everybody on stage's name. I know he's busy fighting and all, but like that's kind of a cell phone, no?
Jake,
This is gonna
there's
be
four
amazing.
fighters on
This
this
is
stage
gonna be
that'll knock
amazing.
you out.
And there's one motherfucker who'll shoot you in the fucking head. That's me, bitch.
Oh,
Bing
here
bong.
we go.
Damn.
What? No, what did he just say? Jake is actually tight. He's actually heated. He let this dude Julian get under his skin. What did he just say? I have been around the rise of Jake Paul in the boxing scene for a while, and for the most part, I am super supportive of Jake doing this because I think it's good for the sport. I think it brings a lot of eyes to boxing. But you're from Westlake, Ohio, dude. You're not a gangster. I know you got Avius there with you, right? I know. And you may think like, I gotta be gangster in front of my guy, but you ain't backing out the blicky on nobody.
Jake Paul just fought against Mike Tyson, who didn't even throw one punch. This is not Mike Tyson. You are gonna get your ass whooped.
No hay manera de que le gane Jake Paul.
There is no way Jake Paul can
Esta
beat him.
preparación que hizo Julio, Jake Paul no la sabe, ¿entiendes?
This camp, Jake Paul doesn't
va a
know
salir
it.
a tirar
There's some weird pausing going on here.
chingazos y Jake Paul va a andar corriendo como gallina.
Julio's gonna go in throwing some serious punches, and you're gonna be running like a chicken without a head.
Okay, chicken with his head cut off. Yeah, I mean, listen, there wasn't a lot I really took away from the Mike Tyson fight either. Jake didn't look great against Mike. I mean, he got it done, whatever. But I expect, and I'm hoping to see a better Jake Paul than I've ever seen. I think he needs to be a better Jake Paul in this fight than I've ever seen to really show people that if he's ever gonna, beat the allegations of just being a guy that beats up on old dudes or just is a guy that beats up on MMA fighter, whatever it is, that he's got to come out and really put a world of hurt on Chavez Jr. or potentially get him out of there quick. And that is the only thing that really Jake can do, is show people that his level is higher than he has previously shown maybe in the last two fights. Mike Perry, Mike Tyson. I think that's imperative that he does that. I don't think he can just win this one like he's won the last couple. Not that Mike Perry was a bad fight. He ended up stopping Mike Perry. But he just didn't look as crispy, didn't look like he had gotten to that next level yet. That's what I want to see this time around.
But the one thing I can tell you, I have never seen seniors so calm. I have never seen juniors so...
I mean, Jake is far bigger, just like size-wise, frame-wise. There's not like a massive difference in their height or anything like that, but Jake is just the like more natural cruiser. Like Chavez Jr. is filled into the weight as he's gotten older, whatever, but this is a 39-year-old filling into 200 when he was previously at 160. Not to say that's what he walked around at, but that's what he fought at. Jake probably walks around at 215, 220, fighting at 200. Definitely a factor in this. I mean, one of the biggest factors is Jake's strength, his power. I legitimately think that's what's probably going to happen. He's probably going to stop Chavez Jr. In fact, I'll go as far as to put my prediction on it. I think Jake's going to stop Chavez Jr. in round 5 or 6. If this thing gets to a point where it's late in those rounds, Jake's gone 10, but let's say that his gas tank starts to wane, then yeah, this thing could turn quickly. But if Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. walks in there with the high guard, without a jab, and just tries to out-tough Jake Paul, out-Mexican chin Jake Paul, it's not going to go well. But it's not the end of this video because we still have more to show, ladies and gentlemen. Because Jake Paul, and this may be the highlight of the entire video, Jake Paul went on Piers Morgan. I don't know when this was filmed, but it dropped today, and it's an 18-minute interview that's a little shorter than most Piers Morgan interviews are. But that's because things got a little testy. Let's take a look.
Jake, how are you?
Okay, we got the sombrero on.
Just chilling, man. How are you?
Some blatant cultural appropriation going on with your massive hat there.
Oh my God, what? Sorry, the no fun police have arrived.
So I've just interviewed your opponent, Julio, very confident, says he's going to knock you out in the 9th round.
Yeah, man. He's a dumbass, and so it's gonna be apparent on Saturday when he's the one that gets knocked out. I mean, genuinely, fighters always say this. There's the back and forth, but Piers, I'm being so honest, man. This guy is easy work.
I mean, you say that. Your last fight was with Mike Tyson, who's now 58 years old. Many people sort of mocked that and wrote it off as a bit of a joke. I interviewed actually Canelo Alvarez recently. He was very scathing about it. I've got a clip, actually. Let's just listen to this.
How lucky is Jake Paul that this fight is happening and you're not going to get in a ring with him?
He's very lucky.
I can't even think what would happen to that guy if he got in the ring with you.
Yeah, it's hard
I mean, you probably could have killed it.
Could be.
I mean, you're probably not even joking, right? I mean,
no, I'm not joking. When I'm stepping in the ring, I'm not joking.
No. Do you like those sort of fights? I mean, when you see...
Bro, they put Jake's reaction on the screen while Piers is making him watch this. Oh, my God.
Mike Tyson get back in the ring at my age?
No, I hate that. Seeing him doing that kind of stuff, I feel sad as a fighter.
This guy, Jake Paul, no disrespect against him. I ain't got nothing against him, but can walk around today for the rest of his life to say, I beat Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And it's on my record.
Yep, which is exactly why Jake fought him. Again, I've told you guys this in multiple videos now. A master of narrative building. When Jake is old and gray, and when Mike Tyson and that generation is long gone, it'll still read on their pro records as long as the sport of boxing is kept record of that Jake beat him. That'll be devoid of context, of Mike's age, of the fact that he was 30 years past his prime, but it'll still read that on there. And that was the whole reason for it. I mean, obviously the money and everything else, but that was the biggest reason.
So, Jake, not a lot of love in the room for your Tyson fight.
You guys got all your panties in a wad. Also butthurt. You guys should go see a therapist, all three of you.
Did you think it was really an edifying spectacle? I mean, I love Mike Tyson. He was one of the best I've ever seen.
Entertainment, man. If Mike Tyson wants to fight you, of course you're going to say yes. He walked away with tens of millions of dollars to support his family for the rest of their lives. And we've made the biggest fight in history. So 128 million people would disagree with you that it wasn't something amazing.
The fight was not amazing. Like, the in-ring stuff was not amazing. Watching Mike, again, I didn't think he should have been fighting, but watching him walk to the ring, you were like, oh, this is not... Although Mike did land a left hook on Jake's throat, like, right away. I was like, hold on a second. My dad was going, great, get him. Come on, son. Come on, get him, Mike. It was insane. But, you know, then it slowly, actually very quickly tapered off for Mike.
I mean, Canelo Alvarez there says that he would potentially kill you if you got on the ring with him.
He's a 5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the fuck he was.
Why are we in the streets, though? Nobody's in the streets. Y'all make too much money to be talking like, well, when I see you in the streets. You're not. No, you're dapping up and saying, when's our next fight? No one's fighting in the streets.
People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really...
I can't. Not with this, Jake. Come on. I get it, Jake. And I told you guys this at the start of the video. He is on his, you know, big man shit right now. And it's right before the fight, so I get it. But, like, you're not a killer. And like, if we're talking, like, boxing terminology and exaggerated, like, that's a killer right there. Yeah, okay, sure. Talk your shit. Whatever. Do I believe that? No. Do I believe in the street situation he would beat up Canelo or he would best Canelo? Yeah. Because Jake has more tools than just boxing, and he's bigger by 40, maybe 50, 60 pounds. And he has hands. Not Canelo hands, but he has enough to keep himself at bay. And then again, I think his wrestling background would take over. His weight, everything else. Youth. But what are we talking about? And why are we talking about, yeah, I'm a killer, I'm a real killer? We're talking about boxing. Let's keep it boxing.
And make him forget who the fuck he was. People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really fucking do this shit. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that.
Boxing.
This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
Yeah, but you're not going to get... Look, you're going to make a ton of money. Listen, I think as a businessman, you are brilliant, right? I give you full credit for that. When you took on Mike Tyson as a business enterprise, there's no argument. You absolutely crushed the numbers, crushed the money, and everything else. But the idea that...
By the way, correct on all accounts. As much as even I hate to admit it about Jake, about Logan, about other... They are the biggest... business drivers and pretty much whatever they touch. And it's insane. You can follow how Jake talks about opponents and what he's done versus what actually happened. If you want, you can talk about where he actually is skill-wise versus where he thinks he's at skill-wise. That makes sense. But business for business, man, they move the freaking needle. They do. All right? I mean, that's just the truth.
You can say on the one hand, I'm a killer, I get in the ring with the best people, and you get in the ring with a guy who's 50, he's literally nearly as old as me.
I'm not talking about Mike Tyson. I'm talking about Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, champions in their sport, Golden Gloves champions, Ryan Borland, Andre August, undefeated fighters. The list goes
but what great boxer have you been in the ring with?
Former world champion on Saturday, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, besides me, of course. Like, I don't know what you guys want to see. I tried to fight Canelo. He ducked out of it. You asked him about that. You said he's going to kill me. So what do you want, Piers? You're laughing when you say, oh, Jake is going to fight Canelo. I think you would kill him. But then you're like,
yo, Piers has got Jake tight, showed him that fucking video. I'm telling you, people are getting under Jake's skin. I think he's just tired of people not respecting him. And the problem is, while he lays out his resume there, and again, to me, someone that watched him go from not knowing how to box to becoming what he is now, that is an impressive resume. And out of the people that have crossed over in the boxing scene, he has the best resume. And honestly, no one in pro boxing wants to admit this, but most people, your favorites, world champions throughout history, fought bums until they had about 15 or 16 wins. That's the reality of professional boxing. I even heard Tevin Farmer say it to Floyd Schofield in the presser today. Like, yeah, you got a lot of knockouts because they know how to build you. They know how to move you. And tell me those guys wouldn't be worse than Jake's resume to some degree. I mean, we're talking about guys that fought dudes with 100 losses. Guys that are 0-39, 3-4. Like, their records are trash. So I don't want to hear everybody saying Jake doesn't have a great resume when your favorite boxer, world champion, their first 11, 12 fights, there were a bunch of stinkers in there as well. Yeah, not saying Jake's going to be a world title holder. Not saying he's at that skill level. I'm just saying, let's be honest about everybody's first 10 or 15 fights in pro boxing. If we're going to call Jake out for it, we got to call everybody out. Or at least most. Not the Vasily Lomachenkos or those guys, but most in their pro career.
But then you're like, oh, you're not fighting this guy. You're the problem here with this whole situation and criticism of my career. I'm trying to fight the best people, and that's why Chavez is here on Saturday. I want Canelo. I want Anthony Joshua. I want all these people. It's been 5 years in this sport.
But the problem is...
He's had a little more than 5 years. Or than like 2018.
The only proper boxer you fought was Tommy Fury, and he beat you. And he's
That's
not even
true.
the best. He's not
I
even
beat
the best
Andre
fighter in his
August,
family.
Golden Gloves champion Andre August, Brian Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit.
So the difference when people say Tommy Fury was the only proper boxer Jake fought, it was because Tommy was as young as Jake was, had a similar record, had a similar, I wouldn't say similar amateur experience because Jake had zero. Tommy at least had some amateur experience, even if it wasn't like Olympic level, and surely Tommy's not super talented either. So that was a good matchup. It was a good benchmark for where Jake was, and he just wasn't on that level. He really wasn't. Tommy was better than he was that night. So that's why people point to Tommy and say he was a proper boxer and the only one you fought. Andre August had been out of the sport for a bit and came back to fight Jake. Ryan Borland, I think, had a similar situation where he had, had success in boxing and took some years off and then came back to fight Jake. So that's why they say, like, Tommy was active, he was young, and he was Jake's, like, same experience-ish as a pro, even though Jake, I think, was far less experienced overall. But still, that's why Tommy is brought up. And it's a good point, right? I still think Jake needs to go and do the Tommy rematch. I do.
Brian Borland as well. Anderson Silva was an undefeated boxer. I mean, you can sit there and make up shit, but you actually don't know your facts. I fought multiple boxers with professional records, and including Mike Tyson himself, who I think is going to be a harder fight than Chavez.
Yeah, but Tyson, peak Tyson, you wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds.
That's what you think. That's what you
think.
No, I
know that. You know that too.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't actually know that. You can't sit there and
you think you'd have beaten Mike Tyson?
Hell no. I'll answer that. Hell no. Jake would not have beaten prime Mike Tyson. Would he have lasted more than 10 seconds? Yeah, probably. Like, a couple of minutes, but like, no, Jake is not beating prime Mike Tyson. For that pocket of time, that version of Mike might have been one of the best ever, but you can't judge a fighter on what their peak is. You have to judge their entire career, but that version of Mike, no.
Hey, back in, I think anything is possible. That's why self-belief is the most powerful thing in the world.
You would have had two hopes. No disrespect to you, Jay. No disrespect.
That's what I want.
You would have had two hopes of beating Mike Tyson
as well.
You'd have had two hopes of beating
Anthony Joshua as well.
You against Mike Tyson, you'd have had two hopes. No hope and Bob Hope.
And you versus going to the gym, you're still a fat ass.
Actually,
he has got Jake pissed the fuck off because what was that? That's not necessary. I mean, the Bob Hope and No Hope shit was kind of cringe from Piers, but Jake said you're 0-2 versus the gym. Jake said you versus the gym, you're still a fat ass.
And you versus going to the gym, you're still a fat ass.
Actually,
what do you want to talk
I've been in the gym the last 2 days. I'm in quite good nick.
Like, we can make up hypotheticals. You should go to the gym. If you went to the gym,
I've been twice this week.
Okay. Well, this is what we're talking about. Like,
I admire your work. I admire your work as a
gym. You don't think I can be Mike Tyson. I don't think you go to the gym.
Okay, well, I do go to the gym, and there's actual photographic evidence. But here's my point to you. I think you're a great YouTuber, a great influencer. I admire what you've tried to do in boxing, but I do think when you actually come up against a proper, serious boxer, and I suspect that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. may be that person, it could all come crashing down.
Is that you think that your opinion matters?
Well, why are you doing my show if it doesn't?
Oh my God. Jake has gotten cooked by an undercard fighter in this video multiple times. Now he calls Piers a fat ass, and then Piers flips it on him when Jake says no one cares about your opinion while Jake is on the Piers Morgan uncensored show. He went on the show to promote the fight. They clearly do care about his opinion. Dang. It's an L for Jake. I will say, though, when Piers says he'll get the respect when he beats a proper boxer, and again, people will pick and choose when they say Jake has fought a proper boxer. If Jake goes out and knocks Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. out, which I expect him to do, you are not going to hear the people say he beat a proper boxer. You're going to hear people say he beat Chavez Jr. that was 39, that was out of his weight class by 40 pounds, that wasn't the same guy he was when he was a world champion, that had the substance abuse issues, all the qualifiers. And you know what? Those people will have justifiable points for it. Those are facts. Those are things that are actually true. The problem is they also in the same boat, if Chavez Jr. beats Jake, will say, see, you couldn't hang with a proper boxer. See, we told you when a proper boxer came around, you wouldn't be able to hang. So it's one of those things where they want to have their cake and eat it too, but I get it. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Jake does absolutely flatline Chavez Jr. It may go the other way, and those people may be right. But if Jake beats him, you're not going to hear him get that credit, of course.
Oh, I'm just taking your audience to sell pay-per-views. I don't give a fuck about your show. You dumbass. This is a fucking business enterprise. Buy the pay-per-view on Saturday, June 28th, me versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Thank you. Tune in, everybody.
Oh, no.
Cheers, Jake.
He rage quit the interview. I mean, that kind of, again, that's a bit of a self-own, because as soon as Piers said, well, you're on my show, you must care about my opinion, that's when Jake decided to leave. He got him. Damn.
Jake, really enjoyed that. And good luck to Julio. Knock him out for all of us, will he?
All right, man. So there it is. Jake Paul rage quits the Piers Morgan show. And just, I don't know, there's a bit of a spite to him this week. I look at that as a good thing, because I remember when he was catching a lot of heat in the sport, but he was also doing crazy shit in the sport. He would talk crazy shit. He would also, put his back up against the wall, and he'd have to go out and perform. And I want to see that. I've said this throughout the whole buildup. I need to see something different from this Jake Paul. I need to see him be better than he was against Mike Tyson for sure. Better than he was against Mike Perry, better than he was against Tommy Fury. I need to see a better version of that. I need to see something that I haven't seen yet from Jake Paul to convince me that the plateau has not been hit, because I'm starting to wonder if this is as good as Jake is going to get. If he wants to be a world champion, and he said he does over and over, and they're even talking about Zordo Ramirez, and I implore them, please do not go near him right now or maybe ever. If they want to take on Badu Jack and they really think Jake has the ability to do that, he needs to go out and leave no doubt on Saturday night. I mean, devastating knockout is what I'm looking for when I see Jake out there. If I am to be convinced that this is a new level for him, it's going to have to be by devastating knockout or complete domination, and then potentially devastating knockout. So with that being said, I do think Jake will win this fight. I do think he'll get Julio Cesar Chavez out of there. I don't know if it'll be as devastating or as dominating as I'm saying, but I do think all the things that have been brought up about Jake's youth, his power, his explosiveness, his ability, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., yes, he's tough. Mentally, I don't know where he is. I saw his last fight against Uriah Hall. It was not impressive in the least bit. It was a glorified sparring match from what I saw over 6 rounds. Very hesitant. Didn't see him jabbing a ton. I think if he walks in with that high guard and looks to just trade power punches, it's not going to go well for him. So being out of his weight class when he was in his prime, plus 40 pounds, how does his body handle that over 10 rounds? Jake has done this now at 10 rounds and at 200 pounds. So I just think that this is all one way, and it's toward Jake Paul. But I could be wrong. That's my final prediction. You guys let me know down below how this thing goes on Saturday. Jake gets cooked by one of his undercard fighters. Crazy. Rage quits the Piers Morgan show, and I still think he wins by devastating KO. And you know what happens when the W.A.D.E curse comes out, so do with that what you may. But again, as you're seeing this video, tomorrow we are live. Really, tonight, we're live, 24-hour live stream for this fight, for UFC 317, for Deontay Wilder's fight, for whatever else. You guys stop by. I'm not going to get much sleep, but I'll see you there. As far as what happens in the ring on Saturday, Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., I don't have those answers, so guess we'll find out.